lot of Albertans where I'm from are concerned that if Mark Carney does win, I mean, it's shocking, right? Everyone thought after 10 years of Justin Trudeau, there was no question that the Liberals were going to lose. And if the Conservatives cannot secure a victory in this political climate now, will they ever be able to? And if the answer to that is no, is it fair for Western Canadians to say maybe it's time to find a new, to create a new system where Ottawa, Toronto, and Montreal don't determine our future? Do you get that same sense in British Columbia? I guess you're from the north, right?
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, I used to live in Fort St. John as well, and they're almost Albertans, they think very similar. Do you think that sort of idea of Western separation or at least some sort of, political sovereignty in some way, shape, or form, do they share that belief with Albertans?
I think the reality is Canada has not thought of itself as a country for a very long time. Mm-hmm. We think of ourselves as provinces, we think of ourselves as regions. It's been many decades since we've actually thought of ourselves as a country. And what Trump has done has created the opportunity to start thinking bigger in terms of it. We need to tear down the barriers between our provinces. We need to move energy east-west. We need to get our energy offshore to Tidewater. And we need to be able to open a mine. So we need to be rethinking our confederation. We need to be looking at the authorities between the federal and provincial governments. And so I think, if you end up with a government in Ottawa that says, no, screw you guys, we're not interested in trying to address or even hear about any of these issues, then I think alienation is going to be a big issue right across the country. But I think there is a window to start looking about that, to think about confederation and how we can see that sort of strengthening, and that's something certainly I'll be pushing for.
Yeah, where everyone fits into the country.
I mean, let's realize our full potential. Mm-hmm. Our GDP growth as Canada has been 0.14% on a per capita basis for 10 years.
Yeah,
it's crazy. The United States is growing at 1.8%. 14 times, 10 times more. The average in the OECD nations is 10 times more at 14%.
Yeah.
Like, this has been absolutely crazy to see how bad we have performed. And I think that's unacceptable. And part of that is not taking advantage of our resources, not listening to the provinces like Alberta, mm-hmm. like British Columbia in terms of where our real potential could be. Across the country, there's all sorts of these same type of issues. But this is something that we need to really think about in terms of what is Canada? How do we take advantage of our strengths? How do we make sure that we have the highest standards of living and the highest healthcare opportunities of any jurisdiction? We could have that because of the resources we have.